Football's been dirty. Since your great-granddad was in diapers, 100 years of cheating that Netflix won't touch. Football's had a side hustle since day one, cheating like their mortgage depends on it. We're talking booby-trapped pitches, hidden razors, needles in boots, and bribes so obvious even the bookies were embarrassed. Yeah, this actually happened. Let's dive into a century of football's most unhinged scandals that make modern diving look like child's play. 1915, the first match-fixing scandal that started it all. Manchester United versus Liverpool, April 1915. United are about to get yeeted into the second division. Liverpool are vibing in mid-table, nothing to play for. Should be straightforward, right? Nope. The match looks sus from the first whistle. Players missing penalties on purpose. Teammates literally screaming at anyone who dared take a real shot. Final score 2-0 to United. They survive. Chelsea get relegated instead. But then, plot twist. Turned out both teams had bet on the exact scoreline. Not just United winning, the exact 2-0 result. Players wagered £50. That's like £6,000 today. Bro, they weren't even trying to hide it. One Liverpool player, Jackie Sheldon, literally told his teammates in the dressing room, "We're throwing this, lads. Get your bets in." The FA banned 7 players for life. But here's what they don't tell you. Most got unbanned after World War I because they needed bodies for football. The military service loophole. 1 minute you're banned for corruption, next minute you're a war hero, so all is forgiven. Mad. 1924, when they literally booby-trapped the pitch. Buenos Aires 1924, title race getting spicy. What does one desperate team do? They break into the stadium at night and dig ankle-breaking holes across the pitch. Not even joking, little sinkholes covered with loose turf, strategically placed where the opposition strikers would run. Sources say the groundskeeper was paid 500 pesos to look the other way. That's a year's salary back then. But it gets better. The visiting team somehow found out, allegedly, a cleaner snitch for 50 pesos, tiptoed around the death traps, and still won 3-1. Imagine losing after you literally turned your pitch into a minefield. Embarrassing. The league? They investigated and found no evidence of wrongdoing. Sure, mate. Just coincidentally had perfect ankle-sized holes appearing overnight. 1960s, the Carlos Bilardo Dark Arts Academy. Before Carlos Bilardo won the 1986 World Cup as a coach, he was a midfielder who basically invented shithousery. This guy at Estudiante turned cheating into an art form. His greatest hits, sewing actual pins into his boots for accidental stabs during corners. Throwing dirt in opponents' eyes during arguments, called it Argentine sand therapy. The legendary holy water incident where he allegedly pissed in a bottle and threw it at Brazilian players. But wait, there's more. In 1968, Bilardo's Estudiantes played Manchester United. George Best later said it was like playing against animals. They didn't just kick you, they'd whisper what bone they were targeting next. Psychological warfare mixed with actual warfare. The word on the street is Bilardo kept a notebook of every opponent's weakness. Not football weaknesses, personal stuff, divorces, gambling debts, sick relatives. He'd casually mention them during matches. How's your wife's affair going? While marking you at a corner. Diabolical. The man later coached Argentina to World Cup glory. Makes you think, doesn't it? 1983, the tackle that should have been attempted murder. Camp Nou, September 1983, Andoni Goicoechea, literally nicknamed the Butcher of Bilbao, didn't just foul Maradona. He basically tried to amputate him. This wasn't a tackle, it was assault with a deadly weapon, his boot. The sound of Maradona's ankle snapping could be heard in the cheap seats. 3 ligaments torn, bone fragments everywhere. But here's the sick part. Goicoechea kept the boot, framed it, put it in his fucking living room like a hunting trophy. Imagine having guests over. Oh, that? Yeah, that's the boot I used to end Maradona's season. Wine? He got an 18-game ban. Maradona got 3 months of rehab and never quite trusted his ankle again. Goicoechea got a trophy boot and endorsement deals in the Basque country. Justice, right? Allegedly, Barcelona wanted to press criminal charges but got pressured by the Spanish Federation to drop it. Can't have football looking like the blood sport it actually was. Late 1980s, when Rangers literally shrunk the pitch. Graham Souness at Rangers' European night against Dynamo Kiev. First leg lost 1-0. Souness needs a miracle. His solution, just make the pitch smaller. Not even kidding. They pulled the touchlines in by 5 meters each side overnight. turned Ibrox into a phone booth. Dynamo had practiced on a normal pitch the day before. Suddenly they're playing in a closet. Rangers won 2-0. Kiev's coach lost his mind post-game but couldn't prove anything because, plot twist, there were no rules about declaring pitch dimensions in advance. It was technically legal. Until the next season when UEFA suddenly decided maybe we should have rules about this. Souness later admitted in his autobiography, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. At least he's honest. 1989, the goalkeeper who cut himself with a hidden razor. This one's genuinely insane. Chile versus Brazil World Cup qualifier. Chile losing 1-0. Roberto Rojas, Chile's keeper, suddenly collapses near the goal. There's a flare on the pitch. He's bleeding from his head. Stretchered off. Match abandoned. Chile's plan: claim Brazilian fans attacked their keeper. Get Brazil disqualified. Sneak into the World Cup. Genius, right? But then, bombshell, a photographer had the whole sequence. The flare never touched him. This absolute madman had hidden a razor blade in his glove and cut his own head open. I'm not making this up. Sources say the Chilean Federation knew. They practiced this in training with fake blood. The team doctor was in on it, had extra bandages ready. The whole thing was choreographed like a Netflix heist show. Rojas got a lifetime ban. Chile got thrown out of the 1990 and 1994 World Cups. The photographer who exposed it got death threats and had to leave Brazil. Plot twist: Rojas is now a goalkeeping coach. Imagine sending your kid to learn from a guy whose most famous save involved a hidden blade. Today, kids, we're learning about commitment. 1994, when Maradona's cocaine eyes gave him away. USA 94 World Cup, Maradona's last dance. He scores against Greece, runs to the camera, and gives us the most coked up celebration in football history. Eyes bulging like he'd seen God or snorted him. The drug test came back positive for ephedrine, basically legal speed. His excuse? Weight loss supplements. Bro, you looked like you'd been awake for 72 hours straight. Your pupils were having their own World Cup. But here's what they don't tell you. Allegedly, the Argentine staff knew and tried to mask it with other substances. The B sample mysteriously took ages to process. One Argentine official later claimed the Americans targeted Diego specifically because he criticized them in 1990. 15-month ban at Napoli in 91 for actual cocaine. Another ban in 94. The pattern was right there, but Argentina still took him because, well, it's Maradona. You don't leave God at home even if he's high as a kite. Mid-90s, the dive that won a championship. Andreas Möller, 1995, Dortmund versus Bayern title race. Müller goes down in the box like he's been shot by a sniper. Replays show zero contact. Man just decided gravity was optional. Penalty. Goal. Dortmund win the match, eventually win the league. The German FA reviewed it. Clear dive, 2-game ban, and a fine of 10,000 marks, about what Müller made in 3 days. Worth it? Dortmund's trophy cabinet says yes, but wait, it gets juicier. Years later, the referee admitted he knew it was a dive but gave it anyway because the atmosphere demanded a decision. Basically, 60,000 Germans scared him into giving a penalty. That's not refereeing, that's democracy. 2002, Rivaldo's Oscar-winning death scene. World Cup 2002, Brazil versus Turkey. Hakan Unzal boots the ball at Rivaldo's leg during a break in play. Dick move, sure. The ball hits his thigh. Rivaldo grabs his face and goes down like he's been hit with a sledgehammer. Rolling around, peek through his fingers to see if the ref's watching. More rolling. Untold gets a red card. Rivaldo gets a tiny fine later. Brazil get easier passage to winning the whole thing. The best part? Rivaldo admitted years later, I had to protect my team. No apology, no shame, just, yeah, I cheated, so what? Respect the honesty, I guess. 2003 to 2011, when United's golden boy was shagging his brother's wife. Ryan Giggs, Mr. Manchester United, 13 Premier Leagues, model professional, was also raw-dogging his brother's wife for 8 years. Not a one-time thing, not a drunken mistake, 8 years. While playing Happy Families at Christmas, while his brother Rodri was at his house watching his kids, while giving interviews about family values and loyalty. Rodri found out through the tabloids. Imagine opening The Sun and seeing your wife's been with your brother longer than she's been with you, then having to watch him score winners for United on TV while 70,000 people sing his name. The wife Natasha later sold her story for £250,000, said Ryan was better in bed. That's not just betrayal, that's public execution. Giggs tried to sue for privacy. Mate, you can't claim privacy after you've been offside in your brother's bedroom for nearly a decade. 2006, when Italian football ate itself, Calciopoli. This wasn't match fixing, this was the entire league being scripted like WWE. Phone taps revealed Juventus executives literally calling referees before matches, not bribing and instructing. We need referee X for the Milan game. Make sure Y doesn't ref our match. If Z is refereeing, we're f***ed. Actual quotes from actual wiretaps. They weren't even using code words, just casually discussing which refs were reliable. The aftermath, Juventus, stripped of 2 titles, relegated to Serie B. AC Milan docked 30 points. Fiorentina, Lazio, points deductions, European bans. Referees suddenly all retired for personal reasons. But here's what Netflix won't tell you. Allegedly, Inter Milan were doing the same thing, but their phone records mysteriously disappeared. They ended up winning the title by default. Convenient. The exodus was mental. Zlatan, Cannavaro, Vieira, Thuram, all gone in one summer. Juventus playing in 20,000-seater stadiums against plumbers. The old lady became the old convict. 2010, Suarez's handball heard round the world. Ghana versus Uruguay, last minute of extra time. Ghana about to become the first African team in a World Cup semi-final. Historic, beautiful. Then Luis Suarez said, nah. Man turned into a volleyball player. Punched the ball off the line, not once, twice. Just decided he's the emergency keeper nobody asked for. But here's the dark part nobody talks about. Suarez was on the sideline celebrating before Gyan even took the penalty. He knew Gyan would miss. Some say he studied hours of penalty footage. Others say it was pure psychology, the pressure of a continent on your shoulders. Gyan hits the bar. Uruguay win on penalties. Suarez, I got punished, he missed. I'd do it again. Ghana's federation allegedly tried to file complaints about unsportsmanlike witchcraft. Not even joking, they wanted FIFA to investigate supernatural interference. Ghana still call him the devil. In Uruguay, he's a hero. Same action, different continents, opposite legacy. 2013, when the physio-turned-goalkeeper Brazil state championship, the physio, the medical staff, runs onto the pitch and saves a goal. Twice, then sprints off like Usain Bolt. Not a player, not a sub. The guy who's supposed to be taping ankles just decided, fuck it, I'm Neuer now. His team advanced. The federation banned him for life, but allegedly he got a bonus from the club president. Promoted from physio to technical assistant the next season. Failed successfully. 2014 to 2024, the drone wars nobody talks about. France 2014, someone's flying drones over our training. Honduras 2018, Australia's got drones at our sessions. Canada 2024, everyone's got bloody drones now. Here's what they don't tell you. Everyone's doing it. Sources say most top nations have video analysts whose only job is aerial reconnaissance. It's so common that teams now practice fake tactics when they spot drones. Imagine rehearsing shit plays just to confuse a flying camera. One Premier League club allegedly has anti-drone technology at their training ground. Another supposedly hires local kids to fly kites near the pitch to block sightlines. This is the world we live in. 2022, the laser show that broke Egypt. Senegal versus Egypt World Cup playoff. What happens? The entire Egyptian team gets lit up like a Christmas tree during penalties. Not one laser. Hundreds. Mohamed Salah looked like he was at a Pink Floyd concert. Stadium security couldn't identify the source. Mate, it was the entire stadium. Everyone had lasers. Allegedly, they were being handed out outside for free by mysterious benefactors. Salah missed. Egypt out. Senegal through. CAF's investigation. No evidence of organized interference. The evidence literally on every broadcast camera in 4K HD. But here's the tea. Egypt had done similar stuff to other teams for years. This was just karma with better technology. 2024, Pogba's career-ending vitamin shot. Paul Pogba, World Cup winner, human highlight reel, 100 million euro man, popped for testosterone. His excuse? Contaminated supplements. The test showed levels that one expert called impossible without direct injection, but Pogba swears he didn't know. Here's what's sus. The test happened right after Pogba had beef with Juventus about his contract, right after he'd been benched, right when transfer rumors were heating up. Coincidence? 4-year ban. He'll be 35 when it ends. That's not a ban, that's retirement with extra steps. Sources say other players at Juventus were nervous about getting tested after Pogba got caught. Makes you wonder what else is in those vitamin shots everyone's getting. The pattern never changes. A century of cheating, and what have we learned? Nothing. The methods evolve. Razors become blood bags, bribes become consulting fees, tackles become tactical fouls, but the game remains the same. When millions are on the line, when glory's one goal away, when your career hangs by a thread, someone somewhere will push the envelope until it tears. Sometimes they become legends, sometimes they become cautionary tales, sometimes like Maradona they become both. The beautiful game? Sure, but it's beautiful like a swan, graceful on top, paddling like mad underneath, and will bite your hand off if you get too close. And we love it anyway, because football without the dark arts would just be 22 millionaires jogging around politely. And where's the fun in that? Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video full of stuff the Premier League definitely doesn't want you to know, you'll love this next one where we expose what really happens in transfer windows. Spoiler, it involves a lot more cocaine than you'd think.